right, let's see what is going on in your energy. Kind of see what you're feeling or experiencing at this time. This is kind of a transitional energy. Usually, I feel like people turn to tarot during transitional time, so that makes sense. Okay. Ow. Okay. Lost lands, soul memories, and gifts. You've done this before, right? So this is like karmic. Something that you've experienced in a past life, leading on to this lifetime. Soul recognition. So, this could be reflecting in your dreams, deja vu. This kind of like open windows, right, for us to peer into the past a bit, into our past lives, our past selves, right? Because our energy remembers things that our physical brain can't remember because our physical body wasn't there in our past life. We had a different physical body, right? So it's kind of the energy of like your higher self trying to like remind you of something or bring something to the surface, like about an energy that you're dealing with. Wow. Okay, so what do I start with? Okay, so Four of Wands is showing up right at the bottom here. I don't know if you can see it. It says completion. And typically the Four of Wands is like the marriage card or the home life card, but in the Thoth deck in particular, this is saying like a cycle is coming to an end, right? And we have the Tower, which indicates more of like a finality of something, right? Okay, I'm struggling to move forward with this because I feel like this is heavy. I kind of want to stay here in this energy for a second, because with the Queen of Swords in reverse, this is something that you don't want to end, right? But it does look like something needs to end, right? It's karmic. This is something, there's a lesson to be learned in this. Eight of Swords in reverse. Somebody, whether it's you or somebody you're dealing with, is starting to see something like the blindfold is coming off, right? So either with you, I almost, because you're showing up in the Queen of Swords in reverse energy, it's almost like you don't want to see it. You don't want it to come to an end. You don't want to bring the sword, right? And that's kind of why I'm saying, like, either you or somebody else. It's kind of early in the reading to say who it is, but somebody's starting to, like, take the blindfold off and see the situation for what it is, right? With the Eon in reverse. This is like closing out a karmic cycle, right? Something that has happened before, something that you've probably played out a couple lifetimes. Eon means forever, right? And this is not something that's forever. And maybe that's what you're seeing about the situation, even though you don't want it to come to a completion. This is like saying the situation may not be a forever kind of deal. We have Ace of Wands, right? Passionate new beginning. This could also signify like a new cycle opening up, right? Like I said, we're coming to completion here, so that means every completion means a new beginning, right? We have Five of Wands, conflict. Or somebody feeling conflicted about something. Under the Five of Wands, we have lust, right? Like a lust-driven connection, or like something that's kind of superficial. Maybe that's also what is being revealed at this time, that like it's kind of skin deep. It's kind of more about how somebody feels that you'll look with them, rather than thinking so much on how it would feel to have the reality of them, right? Because that's a problem with infatuation and like lust, is we oftentimes put on those rose-colored glasses, right? And we see what we want to see. We start painting them in kind of a perfect light, and we don't really think about the reality of them as a person. We don't think about, and I feel like now that you're starting to see the reality, or vice versa, that this is kind of a lust connection. It's creating a conflict, right? Because it's almost like I thought there was more to this connection, and it's starting to feel like not dog, So I feel like Spirit's kind of dropping hints on you. The Hanged Man. This is like kind of not realizing, or not knowing like what direction to take, feeling kind of like, well, shit, I'm in this situation. But it's kind of, this situation is a blockage in and of itself. That's the problem. And it's almost like it kind of halts progress, right? And in order to progress, something needs to be released. This tower needs to happen, right? The thing about the Tower card is that with this eyeball here, it's like needing to see the entirety of a situation, right? Needing to see it as its whole, And if somebody is coming at you with like a lust connection, you can't turn lust into love, right? Lust is kind of possessive, right? It's like feeling a sense of ownership over another person, wanting to have somebody, right? Lust is also the energy of, it's kind of vain, I mean, it's hella vain, obviously, but the vanity of it too is that like you're like, how is this person going to make me look? Thinking about how, like, what they can get out of this connection, right? And that's kind of like what's fucked about it. That's what's fucked about it, right? Because it's not really about enjoying you as a person or enjoying your company, your energy. It's about a facade, right? It's about painting an image, right? It's about having what looks good, right? We have the Lovers in reverse. And the Five of Swords in reverse, right? This is kind of like, I feel like the breakup itself will be pretty amicable. I hate saying that, but that's literally the energy that I'm seeing in this reading is a breakup, right? The Lovers being Gemini energy, and with the Queen of Swords in reverse, that's very air energy, right? With the Five of Swords in reverse, it's kind of like the energy that, like, nobody is seeking to, like, destroy another person in the severance of this connection. It's just seeing it for what it is and being like, this ain't gonna work. You know? It's very, like, focused on the physical, right? And we're actually spiritual beings having a human experience. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience, right? We've been taught backwards, because your material dies, your spirit doesn't, right? Energy does not die. It goes on eternally. There's no creation or destruction of energy. Matter dies. Well, it doesn't die. It's transferred. You know, matter and energy are the same in that. You know, the recyclical aspect of it, but the matter that your spirit is holding on to now is not most likely the matter that it held on to in a past life, right? It's new building blocks. Yeah, it looks like you're starting to see a situation for what it is. And it just feels very superficial. And I feel like you kind of crave a depth that, like, is deeper than this. You know, it's deeper than how somebody makes you look. It's deeper than how they look, even. You know? It's deeper than being the cool kids. You know? And I feel that, I mean, any of you who know me knows I have rarely been the cool kid in my life, right? Um, and so I can relate to that. Like, it's not about this, like, being this popularity contest or whatever, right? Like, it's about reality. It's about what you feel with somebody. It's kind of like, oftentimes when, you know, because I do a lot of research, obviously, you know, and oftentimes we end up with people who are our type, right? On the physical sense. But what I've noticed about couples who really have longevity in their relationships and have, like, a super strong connection and, like, really in-depth love for one another is typically the person that they end up with is not going to fall into their type. You know, they're going to be different, right? Because that's part of the spiritual challenge there is, like, stepping outside of a material type and being like, you know what, this person feeds my soul. You know, and having compatibility on levels of that sink deeper than that, you know? Let's continue. So, what happens after this severance? Because it looks pretty definite. It looks like this is not a forever connection, alright? This is a lesson connection. Three of Cups in reverse, there could be disappointment. You know, there could be, I mean, obviously, there's got to be disappointment because this is something that you wanted to be able to last. You wanted it to be sufficient or substantial. But it just feels like there's ulterior motives in this connection, right? And that's what is really the most disappointing part of it. What else does Spirit want you to know? The universe in reverse. Okay, Spirit's mad. It's like saying that you haven't been listening to the signs, or like, you know, you've been ignoring red flags or ignoring things because of those rose-colored glasses. How do you see? How do you see the red flags? Everything looks red, you know? You're like, I thought that was a scarf, bro. So, yeah, the Spirit's like saying you've been missing signs, and it's because you wanted this to work, right? You wanted this to be a thing. Probably even were willing to sacrifice and compromise for this, right? The Devil in reverse. This is resisting temptation. This is also letting go of somebody in this energy, right? This lust energy. This is lust right there. That's a trump card. And I feel like it's saying that you're kind of letting go of somebody of a narcissistic nature. There's no room for this in your spiritual growth or development. Also, I just kind of caught a download that it's like somebody could be like acting more in tune than they are, right? Or trying to, I don't know, like trying to do that whole twin flame thing, right? And oftentimes I feel like, you know, I've even veered away from talking about twin flames because I've noticed that it does promote a lot of toxicity because people who don't really understand it or people who don't really believe in it use it to their advantage and like use it to manipulate people, right? And so so I don't right? I don't like talking about it anymore. But it kind of feels like somebody's putting up like a false front, right? Trying to create an image that you like, right? Because they want you to fall into the image that they like. Queen of Cups is showing up. Queen of Cups is somebody who's very emotionally mature, very gentle, very spiritually inclined. This is somebody who comes from like sincerity inside their soul, right? Somebody who really swims in the depths. a creative energy, right? Like, so you could be very creative, you could be very artistic. Also, the Queen of Cups can be a little heart overhead sometimes, you know? Like, so, let's see. Whereas the Queen of Swords is more head over heart, and we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. So yeah, it's kind of like primal, almost, like this connection. Primally driven. Alright. I'm leaving that one there. It fell out on purpose. Ah. Okay. Oh, dude, it flipped this tower card over too. That's hilarious. From a different deck. But as soon as I set that down, it hit this card and it flipped up. So yeah, if we needed any more confirmation, double towers is a huge indicator that this is coming to an end. I want to be a queen. Stating your sovereignty, declaring freedom, and passing a test. So this is about, the queen is assertive, right? The queen stands up for themselves. The queen, stating your sovereignty is like stating your independence, right? So you could be like, all right, I'm done, declaring freedom, after a tower, that's like a separation, right, from something that tried to possess you or keep you. Especially with that lust card, right? It's all about possession. And passing a test, this could have been a spiritual test to see at, like, can you spot the red flags? Are you so developed that, like, you literally will not settle for less? Like, there's a lot to be said about that one. Then, because sometimes we have these connections to really test us and to test our receptivity to the divine. Like, are we going to listen to spirit when spirit's like, go the other way, dog? This ain't good. Like, are you going to listen to your primal urges over your spiritual knowing, And I feel this energy of passing the test and being like, all right, this ain't right. Artha of Kali. You're forging your authentic path. In support of that, you shall attract great blessings that will benefit all beings. To live a spiritually and creatively self-directed life takes incredible strength and trust in yourself. Remember that the promise of your sacred success is being fulfilled through every challenge and every blessing. Trust in what you were born to accomplish, right? Challenges or tests. Do you pass the test here? So, declare your freedom. I think that's what I'm gonna freaking title this, to be honest. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for you. Namaste. I love you guys, and I'll catch you later.